Hello everybody, Cooper here, and welcome back to another episode of my NBA 2K25 MyGM series here with the Los Angeles Lakers. I hope you're all doing very well today. It's the 2026 offseason. It's the offseason special. It's my favorite time of the season. Whenever we get to go through the offseason and make changes with the team, it is my absolute favorite. Apart from obviously playing in the playoffs, that is always very exciting. But the offseason is always my favorite. It's where the most fun stuff happens, in my opinion. Hope you're all doing very well. First and foremost, we're going to be looking at player retirements. We're going to see who has called it quits at the end of the day. We've got Brook Lopez, he's out of here. Drew Holiday's out of here. Jimmy Harden's out of here. Stephen Curry's gone. At a 95 overall, 38 years of age with a year to go on his contract. That is a little bit surprising. And then after those four guys, the quality sort of drops off a little bit. Klay Thompson, who we had a matchup against in the conference finals, he's out of here. And then as we go further down the list, we sort of find guys who are without clubs at the moment. So, Emoni Bates, former Cavalier, he's gone. That's about it. Pretty short retirement class, all things considered. And then we look at staff retirements. Ime Udoka, he's only been coaching a short while. He's retired. Greg Popovich, who's been coaching for what feels like forever, he's retired. And then a couple of other guys have also retired. We can't override staff retirements. I don't think. I might do it for Udoka, but I won't do it for Popovich. He's 37 years of age. Not 37 years of age. He's been coaching for 37 years. Well-deserved retirement for Greg Popovich. Hall of Fame-wise, Steph Curry and James Harden make it. Pretty good resumes between the two of them. James Harden played more games than Steph Curry, which is a little surprising, but I suppose he got drafted the year... Was he in the same draft class as Steph? I think he was. Anyway, Steph 25 a game, James Harden 23 a game. Steph got an MVP, he got 2 MVPs. James Harden 1. Basically the same amount of All-Stars, but 4 rings to 0. You'd definitely say Steph had the better career. Has to be said, jersey retirements. Klay Thompson gets his jersey retired with the Warriors, as is expected. James Harden with the Rockets, probably not surprising. And Steph, obviously, with the Warriors as well. Now, the draft lottery is here. We don't have a lottery pick, but had we not made the trade for Benedict Mathurin at Christmas, we would have a lottery pick. So that's just something to keep an eye on. Where there's a pick that we sent to the Pacers, which is a swap best between the Hawks and the Spurs. So we're going to head into the draft lottery. The pick currently is sitting where it's sitting at 5th overall. Actually, no, it's not, sitting at 13. So that's the pick there. So the Spurs have a pick via Atlanta. That's not our pick, or not the pick we invested in. I'm basically all good as long as it doesn't get into the number 1 pick. But I'm going to skip the lottery. It doesn't go to number 1, it goes to number 4. That I'm okay with. We obviously sent our pick. We sent that pick, our 30th overall pick, which is our first round pick this year, and our first round pick in 2030 to the Pacers with Alvarado and Dante Exum for Benedict Mathurin. So pick 4 ended up, you'd probably say that's fair value, actually, because I think Benedict Mathurin might have been drafted with the 4th overall pick. But he's a free agent. We'll go over that in a minute. Staff signings now. I'm basically just going to keep our staff the same until they're all out of contract, and then we'll sort of revisit it. JJ Redick has been excellent in his first 2 years as coach. 2 years, 2 championships. Really not much to complain about there. The rest of the guys I'm pretty happy with as well. So I'm happy just to skip through this, and we'll come back to the next thing afterwards. The draft combine. There's one prospect that I'm looking at drafting. It should be said that if we go to our picks this year, we have 1 second round pick, and then we have a 27 swap best with the Pelicans and the Bucks, and then we have a 29 with the Grizzlies. This pick, there's one prospect that's on my board at the moment. And if we go to the draft board, we've got Kent Gary, who's a center. He's 21 years of age. He's not very good, but he's 7'5". And I feel like in games, there's a lot I can do with that. He can sort of stretch the floor if we look at his attributes. He's got a mid-range jumper. He's got a D+3. That is all stuff we can work on. We don't know what his potential is. I'm not too worried about it. I'm not looking for him to be, you know, a starting sort of... He's not going to take over a Kongwu's role. But in a second round pick, the guy is 7'5". You can't really go wrong. So if he's available, we're going to be looking to draft him. If not, if he's not on the board, we'll probably just trade the pick. But I'm very happy with some of the prospects that we've come across this year in the mock drafts. There is Jordan Jameson, which he is a 6'7" small forward out of Kansas. His draft comp is LeBron James. Averaged 30 points a game at college. If we can find his draft comp. Yeah, his Hall of Fame draft comp is LeBron James. Which is why I didn't want the Pacers to get the #1 pick. Because we might have missed out on the second coming of LeBron James had we kept the pick. But not the case. It's all good. Unless he falls to 4, then I'll be a little bit sad, but I don't think he will. So it was actually the pre-draft workouts I wanted to look at, not the draft combine. So if we can select our guy as one of our guys that we want to have a look at, we'll have a look at his numbers. Pretty slow on the sprint. Lane test was pretty slow. 35-inch vertical, whilst isn't amazing. The fact he's 7'5" with a 35-inch vertical is very good. Decent. I mean, it's an okay bench press. It's nothing outstanding. But pretty good shooting-wise. Moving college three-pointer, 19 for 25 is very good. Standing college 3, 18 for 25. Standing NBA 3, 10 for 25. And then the moving NBA 3, 9 for 25. So there is, you know, that really strong mid-range shot, as he is listed as a mid-range specialist. Hopefully he's available when we get to the draft. We will see how we go with the draft. Let's go. But we'll see who the #1 pick is in this year's draft. Oklahoma City are on the clock because of course they are. And they take Jordan Jameson, not too surprising there. But we'll skip forward to our pick now. Hopefully he is still there. And he is there. There's also this other guy who's 7'4", Homer Walton, but he's more of a post defender, not really much of a floor spacer. Well, has a decent mid-range, has C+ potential, but I'm going to go with Kent Gary. He's got 2 first names. Welcome aboard, Kent, our first draft pick of the series. We're heading into our second off season. We haven't made a draft pick yet, but he is on board. We're going to skip forward to the end of the draft. I don't anticipate making any more moves. And then we'll have a look at the draft summary and then we'll head into free agency. So we look at the draft summary now. We can see Jordan Jameson, 80 overall. Very strong stats if we have a look at them. 84 mid, 77 3. Can shoot free throws. Good with the ball. Defense could use some work. Not a bad rebounder. Only B potential. So I feel like that LeBron James draft comp might have been overstating things a little bit. There was another center here which I did consider trading up for, but I didn't want to give up anything too outrageous. It was Tyson Ellis. But he looks pretty good. 77 overall. He's actually a very good three-point shooter. 79 overall. But if we head into the second round, our guy that we drafted is only a 66 overall, but he's got a badge, 87 mid-range, 53 3, 69 free throw. Definitely something we can work on. Only a 39 block, so as I said, he's not going to be a rim protector or a real defender, but hopefully with just his size, he can just make stuff happen. D+ potential, pretty durable. I'm pretty happy with the pick. I mean, it's only a second round pick, so it's nothing to get too excited about. But it's a guy, it's our third choice center. He's going to be our Luke Cornett replacement, as I do have a plan going into free agency and the trade period with what I'm going to be doing. But Luke Cornett is going to be on the move, unfortunately. As much as we love Luke Cornett, we're going to be Kent Gary, who's sort of going to be replacing him. We're going to get through the rookie signing now. Of course, we're going to sign Kent Gary to a contract. That was never in doubt. Dillingham, we're going to accept his team option. Heading into the free agency period, we can see that Luka Doncic has declined his option with the Mavericks. Trae Young's declined his option with the Hawks. All the team options have been accepted for the rookies. Bradley Beal, no surprise, has his team option declined. Isaiah Hartenstein has his team option declined, but other than that, not really a strong free agency class. Qualifying offer we will extend to Benedict Mathurin, but I dare say we will make an outright offer for him anyway. So I'm not too worried about it. But free agency is now here. But before we get into free agency, we will be making some moves. We only have 2 future picks, neither of which we'll be able to trade anytime soon. I want to gain a little bit more flexibility with our draft picks without compromising too much of our lineup, because I'm quite happy with our team. If we look at things here as a whole, we've got Anthony Davis, who is 33 years of age, and I dare say he will start to regress now. He's got 2 years left on his deal. LaMelo is only 24, he's got 3 years on his deal. Cam Thomas is looking like a bargain on the contract that we signed him up to. Okongwu is eligible to sign a contract extension, but I don't think he wants to at this stage. Nikola Jovic, again, another bargain on the contract that we signed him on. Dillingham will be able to sign him to an extension next off-season. Max Christie's extension eligible now, but we'll see what happens with him. Bol, we'll see what happens with Bol. I did like him in the simulation. I didn't really like using him in-game, so that might be something to do there. And then Luke Cornett, as I already said, we're going to be trading him. He's 31 with a year to go in his contract. Gary Payton, same deal. Haywood Highsmith, same deal. So these 3 guys are going to be traded. And then Cam Christie and Bronny James are probably going to stay around. Bronny's definitely going to stay. Cam Christie, I dare say, will stay unless we get some ludicrous offer. But I'm going to have a look around. We're going to make some deals. And then we're going to head into free agency. First order of business, we're going to be sending Gary Payton to the Grizzlies for 3 second-round picks. Doesn't Gary Payton, the second, just seem like the perfect Grizzly? Just a hard-nosed defender, fits the culture. I think this is a good deal for both teams. Gary Payton, the second, providing some good veteran leadership, championship experience, both with us and the Warriors in 2022. And we get 3 second-round picks in return. Hopefully they accept this deal. And they do. First deal is on the board. This next deal we're going to be hoping will go through is Luke Cornett to the Hornets. The Hornets currently don't have a center. And this 2027 lottery protected first round pick via Miami, I dare say they'll be in the lottery next season, but the season after that, when we get the pick to carry over, I think the pick might have some value. I'm happy to tack on some second round picks that we got from the Gary Payton trade. If the Hornets don't do this deal straight up, we'll see what they do. They don't like the deal. We might give them the 20... Actually, we've got the first and second round pick from the Grizzlies in... Actually, that's the 29, 2030, never mind. We'll throw in a Hawks 2027 second rounder. We might throw in the 2030 second rounder and the 2027. They don't like that deal either. Okay, let's try something else. What if we just do a bunch of second round picks? Like, if we can get 6 second round picks for Luke Cornett, that would be nice. I think that should be something we're able to do. Not interested. We'll take out 1 second round pick at a time until we get a deal done. We get 4 second round picks for Luke Cornett. We've got plenty of picks on the board now. 7 second round picks, including 3 for next year, plus the swap best with the Pelicans and the Bucks. And then lastly, we've got Haywood Highsmith, who does have some value. He didn't play a lot for us last year, but has been a pretty good contributor as a bench pro for Miami in the last couple of seasons. He's currently 75 overall. I don't know what a deal will look like for him. I'll see what I can get up to, and then we'll make something happen. We're going to go 5 second round picks for Haywood Highsmith with the Orlando Magic. They're sort of lacking at power forward as well. I think Paolo Banchero is a free agent. They're not interested in this deal. We'll take out the 2030 pick. They agreed to that deal as well. So in total, I think we got 11 second round picks. We're sort of doing our best Washington Wizards impression at the moment. But if we can get all these second round picks and then add them up to something greater in the future, whether we trade them sort of 3 or 4 at a time for a late first round pick, we can do that in later drafts. I think that'll be handy. But we'll leave the second round picks for now. I was going backwards and forwards of how we can improve the roster. Obviously, we have a couple of free agents. I think we can probably sacrifice a bit of our depth to bring in another, not big name, but sort of someone who can contribute sort of maybe like a $20 million a season kind of guy. I don't know who that is, but I'm going to look around for some trades. And if I find something, I will let you guys know. But if not, I'll just head straight into free agency. I had a look for a couple of trades, but there was nothing really that made a great deal of sense out there for us. But what we're going to do before free agency is we're going to do a couple of contract extensions. Now, Anthony Davis is up for an extension. I think we can sign into a 2-year extension if I remember correctly. But we're going to do Max Christie first. We can sign him for 3 years. If we can get him at 11 for the first year and then decrease 5% each year after that, I think that ends up being a pretty good deal for us. But I think that's a good deal. Max Christie is now on 4 years, just under $40 million a season. That takes him through to the age of 27 or 28, depending on how the maths works out. But that's a pretty good deal for us, I feel. In terms of Anthony Davis, he's wanting a pretty big extension in terms of, not in terms of years, but in terms of dollars, and he's only going to get worse. Now, we might actually wait until progression goes through, because he's currently making $62 million on that last year. The player option doesn't actually have a dollar value next to it, so I dare say he's just going to decline that option. But we might wait until he regresses a little bit and then offer him a contract extension, just to see if it's a little bit less, it's a little bit sneaky. But I'll see what we can do there. And as I mentioned before, Okongwu not looking to sign an extension just yet, and nobody else at this stage is eligible. After looking at some of the free agents that we have on the table here, Luka Doncic has a lot of offers, including a massive extension from the Mavericks, Hawks, and Nuggets. Imagine Luka and Jokic on the same team. Good God. KD has an offer from the Suns, Trailblazers, Pistons. Not a great deal there. Paolo would be awesome. If we can get Paolo on the team, that would be great. Chet Holmgren is getting an offer back from the Thunder. That'll be tough to get back. Trae Young, we don't really need. De'Aaron Fox, we don't really need. Jaren Jackson Jr. getting a big extension from the Grizzlies. That would be interesting. Jimmy Butler getting a deal from the Clippers. Jalen Williams could be a deal. Now, how do we afford this is the only thing. Because Anthony Davis is now 33 and he's due to make $58 million next season. I am a little bit concerned about that, not gonna lie. So I think our actual move is to trade Anthony Davis, which is crazy because he was second team All-NBA this year. If we look at his resume, he won Finals MVP. But he was second team All-NBA, first team All-Defense, he was an All-Star. But he's also 33 going on 34 and he's due to make $62 million next, not this season, the season after that. So now might be the time to trade Anthony Davis, but the question is, where? And I think the one logical place, I would send him to Chicago, which is his hometown, but they don't have the picks, and I don't particularly want anything they have to offer. I ideally don't want to take any money back, is the only thing. We could go to the Clippers, but again, they don't have the picks. The Hawks don't have the picks. The Heat don't have the picks. The Hornets don't make any sense, but they have a lot of picks from the LaMelo Ball trade. I think where we send him is Brooklyn, because they've been wanting to get good for a while. They have Nick Claxton, which could be problematic. But apart from that, I think we could send him to the Spurs, but I don't think they have the salary to do it. Phoenix don't have the picks. OKC, I don't think have the cap room to do it. And they don't have the picks because basically we took them all. Minnesota don't need him. Portland don't have the picks. Golden State don't have the picks. And then Washington have picks, but I don't think he makes sense in Washington. So I think Brooklyn is the place to go with this deal. Now, they can only afford it if they get rid of Michael Porter Jr. Now, I don't want Michael Porter Jr. on the team, so I'm going to send him to a third team. Probably the Hawks, because they had a ton of cap space. They also have a couple of picks where we could send... Michael Porter Jr., he's on a 1-year contract, so he's probably only worth... We could go 2 picks and then throw in the seconds as sort of a base deal. We could always send one of the Nets pits over to Brooklyn, over to Atlanta. We'll see what we can come up with. But I think, oh, not Nick Claxton. I think we need, I'm not really interested in the 27 draft. I really want these later picks because Anthony Davis probably will either be retired or really not that good. So if we can get the 20, 30, 20, and 29 Nets picks, maybe a swap best between the Nets and the Knicks, that'll be good. A 20-30 Nuggets pick, that could be interesting. And then if we go maybe this Knicks pick to the Lakers, that could be good. So it's in total 7 firsts, 5 from the Hawks, 5 from the Nets, 2 from the Hawks, plus 2 seconds. Plus Michael Porter Jr. going to the Hawks for Anthony Davis. Does this deal go through? The Hawks don't like it. Okay. We'll take out that pick. We'll throw in the Suns pick, because my understanding is that's quite valuable. So that makes sense for the Hawks to do it, but I don't think the Nets would do that. So we probably need to throw in some more salary on our side. So maybe Bol to the Nets. That makes sense. That clears up $43 million of cap space. Bearing in mind, Benedict Mathurin's still a free agent, so we would need to sign whoever we want to sign first before we sign Mathurin. Maybe this deal gets done. The Hawks would do it, but the Nets wouldn't. Could we throw in some seconds? Would that get the deal done? What if we throw in 3 seconds? Nets wouldn't do it. Maybe 4 will do it. They wouldn't do it. Okay. We don't really need these seconds on our end, so we might just throw them to the Nets. Hawks would still do it. Nets wouldn't do it. Let's try with these seconds again. The proposal will have us spending an excessive amount at the center position for my liking. Okay. So we need to give them some guards. Because Bol's power forward. They still have Nick Claxton. And Anthony Davis is obviously making a ton of money. I think maybe do we give one... I know we just gave Max Christie an extension. Ideally, I don't want to split up the Christie boys. But we send maybe both of them to the Nets. And then maybe do this. Would the Hawks do that? Because if we're going to give up 2 more players, I want to get that 27 pick. Neither team are interested now. Okay. We'll take out that pick. Whoopsie daisy. Is there a good pick in this year's draft? The Sixers pick could be interesting. We'll send that to us. Phoenix that 27 pick goes to the Hawks. Neither team interested now. Okay. We'll go back to that Nuggets pick. That can go to us. And then that Suns pick can go to the Hawks. Okay. I think this is the final deal. So Anthony Davis, Bol, and the Christie boys go to Brooklyn. Michael Porter Jr. and a 2027 first via Phoenix go to the Hawks. The Hawks also send a 2030 second round pick via them and a 2027 second round pick via the Clippers to Brooklyn. And then we get Brooklyn's 2029 first, 2030 first, a 2028 first, which is a New York Knicks pick swap, a 2030 first, via Denver. And then from the Hawks, a 2030 Hawks first round pick, plus a 2029 Hawks first round pick. Hopefully this deal will go through. Anthony Davis, thank you for your service. Enjoy Brooklyn. After doing this deal with Brooklyn, I'm happy with the amount of picks that we've loaded up on. Now we go into free agency. I don't know how we're going to go with either the Nuggets, the Hawks, or the Mavericks competing for Luka Doncic. There's obviously Banchero, Holmgren, J-Dub, but I think they'll all get matched. We could play Luka at the 3. That could be interesting, but do I really want to is the only thing. Shaden Sharp, probably going to get... He's received a mid-level from the Bucks. I don't think he'll accept that. But if we go further down the list, it really is not inspiring whatsoever. So the primary need is another big. Because we've got Okongwu. We've got the Canadian we just drafted, whose name I've forgotten. And we've got Jovic as sort of our guys that are over 6'10". Everybody else is a guard, basically. Obviously, Mathurin's a free agent, but he's also 6'5". So he needs a big guy. So Doncic doesn't really solve a need for us, although he is 6'7". Not really going to be playing power forward. So Kevin Durant could be a short-term option. Wait for next year's free agency. Are they going to show us next year's free agents? Okay, so Jokic is a free agent next year. Shea's a free agent next year. Wemby's a free agent, but I dare say he'll get matched. Towns is a free agent, but not really the profile of player we're looking for. Kawhi's a free agent. We're not going to sign Kawhi. We're not going to sign Paul George. We're not going to sign Damian Lillard. Brandon Miller. These are all old guys. Alex Sarr, no. Remains to be seen. So we really need to go in this year. But who do we sign? Look at a deal for Luka. We can only offer him 4 years as opposed to 5, but we can give him a no trade clause. I don't think he would take it though, is the only thing. So I don't want to waste an offer on Luka. KD, as much as I like him, we don't really need him. But maybe we just fill up on role guys. Maybe that's what we do. Small forward. Are there any really good role guys I really like? Christian Brown. I know we were thinking about trading for him at the trade deadline. He could be really fun. But he might also get matched by Denver. Okongwu's unrestricted, which is... not Okongwu. Okoro unrestricted by not Cleveland. LA. Clippers. Moses Moody is unrestricted. Had a really good year for Golden State last year. Is getting a pretty reasonable offer. One we can definitely outbid. And then power forward, who have we got? We got Keegan Murray, who's getting a big offer from the Kings. Another guy we considered trading for, but didn't in the end. Aaron Wiggins, spent last year with Philadelphia. Jeremy Sohan with the Spurs. 2 guard, we got Jaden Ivey. We don't really need another strong guard. Like a bench guard I'd take, but we don't really need like a starting guard. We've got tons of them. So I think if we can't get Banchero, which I'm not going to go for the OKC guys. I'll go for Banchero. If we can get him on a pretty good deal, we'll sign him up. And then for the small forwards, we're obviously going to bring in Mathurin. We're going to re-sign him. Do we go Moody or do we go Okoro or Brown? Who's got the best potential? I know Moody's a year younger. He's also got the Badgers. No, he doesn't. I think we might go Brown. I know he's restricted with Denver. We'll give him 4 years. 15 million. What's that? I can't figure out the maths on that. But we'll go Christian Brown as our second signing. And then we'll also throw an offer to Okoro, I think. We'll also throw an offer to him for 4 years. Bring that down to 1050. Hopefully one of those guys sign. Okay, Okoro agrees. Sorry, they all agree, which is good. We'll get rid of the trade exceptions and the cap hold on Ben Simmons. We're not going to bring back Ben Simmons. Banchero has matched, but we get the other 2. Now, I don't know how much cap space that leaves us with. Not a lot, I would imagine. Which is okay, it's not the end of the world. In terms of power forwards, Peyton Watson would be nice. He's very good. Sort of a flex guy. Plays a bit of small, bit of big. Good interior defender and perimeter defender. We've got a ton of cap room, so if we can go maybe 9 million for him on a similar deal that we gave Bol, but I like him a lot more than Bol. Maybe we just play a really deep team this year. Maybe that's just what we do. Jeremy Sohan could be interesting. Keegan Murray, I do like, but I think he's going to be expensive. So we might go someone like down Peyton Watson, maybe a Baji. That could be something we do. Was he with Utah last year? He was with the Knicks last year. He's been a bit all over the place. Maybe we go Aaron Wiggins. Kind of a similar guy to Peyton Watson, but I think it's a guy we can sign up. I think 10 million declining over 4 years is good. And then if we can just sign like a vet center, that would be fun. Who's a good option? Not Capella. Jesus, no. Von Looney. Not really going for it. Durop Reith, fellow Aussie. We'll stay away from it now. I'm actually quite happy with those offers. We've still got the cap hold on Mathurin. Everybody else is signed up. We might just... Nuggets match Watson. That's annoying. We'll go for another power forward, see who's there. I'm going to go in for Moses Moody. I want to see what can happen here. I think if we can go 15 on the first year, just declining by 5% over 4 years, I think that could be something we do. Hopefully Mathurin's cap hold doesn't fade away. It doesn't. Moses Moody accepted the Golden State offer, unfortunately, but we get 3 guys we really like in Brown, Okoro, and Wiggins. Moses Moody signs with the Warriors. That's fine. Okay. Mathurin is still there, and he's getting offers. Not good ones. Now's the time. We sign him up and extend his deal. Basically, we go 31 million, 5 years, negative 5% over the course of the deal. That is a really team-friendly deal. I don't know what the starting lineup's going to be for next season. I have no idea what it's going to be. Kevin Porter Jr. could be interesting. He won 6th Man of the Year in the first season of the save file and then didn't get a contract for the next season. He's a bit of a lunatic also, so I don't really want to give him a huge deal. But that could be something we do. We'll see what happens. Trey Jones. I love Trey Jones. I know he's not Tyus Jones, but I love Trey Jones, so we could go there. A backup to... Is that Dalen Terry? Dalen Terry, excuse me. Oh, he was terrible last year. We're not going to sign him. Taylor Horton Tucker, Laker legend. I'm not going to go there. Jordan Clarkson, Laker legend. We could go there. Duncan Robinson, Laker legend. We could go there, but I don't think we will. Power forwards, Laravia is tempting, but no thank you. Kenyon Martin Jr. spent last year with Golden State. Wasn't that good. If he had the year he had with Philly, I would have signed him, but he wasn't that good. Patrick Baldwin Jr. I was really excited about Patrick Baldwin Jr. when he got drafted, and I have no idea what happened with him. Maybe a backup center. We've got a 66 overall currently as our backup center. We might go... We could go, not the J-Dub we wanted, but the J-Dub we deserved in Jalen Williams. He was okay with Denver last year, but he's asking for a lot of money, so not fond of that. Alexei Kolomak, the number 9 overall pick from last year's draft, has just been let go by Washington. Can shoot threes. He's just a big dude. So we could. B-Ball Paul, Tristan Vukovic. Was really good last year for Washington. That might be something we do. Can shoot threes. B+ potential. That. Ooh. I like it. Not asking for a great deal of money. 8.5 a season. We'll throw a team option on that last year. We'll sign him up. And I feel like we need some vets. We need some vets. Who's like the oldest guy in free agency? Dwight Powell. He left Dallas. That's so sad. But we could give him a contract. Jordan Clarkson's like the perfect... Has he got badges? He's got badges. We'll give him 2 years on the minimum. Harrison Barnes has badges. We've already used out all our offers. That's a shame. Darryl Mulling. That's okay. Point guards. We want old point guards. Old dudes with badges. Monte Morris, we'll give you 2 years. Hopefully you can sign with us. We now need an old power forward. DFS is interesting. Cam Johnson, welcome back. Probably not. How was he last season in Chicago? He was pretty good. Georges Niang, pretty good with Cleveland last year. We might give him a, we'll give him a 1-year deal. He doesn't need 2 years. Jordan Clarkson signs. Monte Morris is signed with the Blazers. That is disappointing. Campaign, what a guy. I feel like he's been in the NBA forever. We'll give him a 2-year. Georges Niang signs up. Vucevic and Payne still mulling offers. There we go. Mathurin, Vucevic, Payne all sign up. Oh, damn. Vucevic matched by Washington. That is a shame. Okay, we need one more player. Anybody down here showing any promise? Filipowski. He's played 1 season. He's asking for $12 million. You are ridiculous. Could go Zach Collins for a year. What's the most we can offer? $13 million. Is there a different center we could sign for $13 million? Daniel Gafford would be great. He can't shoot, but would be interesting. Can we go something like, and he can be a backup center? He can't shoot. I don't want guys that can't shoot. Nurkic, James Wiseman, 31 a year. Jesus. J-Dub, Isaiah Jackson, Kelly Olynyk, good vet. Would we just sign another power forward and pretend he's a center? Sohan's still there. He's unrestricted. I don't think he'll sign for 13 a year, but he's, you know, an option. Tobias Harris, also an option. Not really a center. I think we just bite the bullet on Daniel Gafford. I think we won't give him a 3-year. We'll give him 2 years and a team option. Actually, we'll go 3 years with a team option. He might like that. Oh, he doesn't want an option. We'll give him 3 years. Hopefully that's a deal he likes. We'll skip forward. Hopefully he accepts. He does. I think we're done. We are pretty deep compared to last year. LaMelo's now our lead guy. Mathurin, our second leading guy. Cam Thomas, Okongwu, Gafford, Jovic, Christian Brown, Dillingham, Okoro, Wiggins, Campaign, Jordan Clarkson. Oh, he's wearing number 3. That's disgusting. Anthony Davis is offended. Bronny, Georges Niang, Kent Gary. That's a pretty interesting team. I'm looking forward for Okongwu starting because I think he's capable. There's plenty of guys who can get plenty of minutes and a lot of tradable contracts as well. We're not that deep at the 2 anymore. Obviously, I think Bronny's going to get a lot more minutes this year because Jordan Clarkson's not really going to play. Neither's Campaign. So we basically stocked up on wings and became a really flexible lineup. I quite like what we've done. Anyway, we'll get to player progression and then we will look at some of the other rosters in the NBA. Player progression is very interesting. LaMelo Ball, 91 overall now. Cam Thomas, 85. Mathurin, 85. Dillingham, up 7 to an 84. Okongwu didn't change, but some of his stats did rise. Jovic now an 80 is our starting power forward. Daniel Gafford as an 80. As sort of a backup center is quite reasonable on a pretty good contract. Christian Brown, up 1. Wiggins stayed put. Okoro down 1. Bronny James, 76 overall. Campaign. Oh, jeez, there's a lot of decretion here between... Decretion? I don't think that's a word. Between Clarkson and Georges Niang. But it's okay, we only signed Niang to a 1-year deal, and Clarkson, I'm pretty sure we will trade at some point. Campaign, still increasing at 31 years of age. I do like it. And Gary Kent. Kent Gary, I'm never going to get that right. Is going to get some game time, I feel, at some point this season. But now is the major time to see the transaction report. Who got signed? Who got traded? Let's have a look. Okay, I've already noticed a few things. Jalen Duren, 4 years, 163 with the Spurs, which is interesting because they have Wemby. So maybe Wemby's going to be playing power forward. I don't know how that's going to work. Malachi Branham signed a 27 million one-year deal with the Wizards. Not really a player they needed, but I guess they need to spend money on somebody. De'Aaron Fox to the Heat is a signing I love. Heat culture, De'Aaron Fox, what a guy. Trae Young is now on the Clippers. I suppose he's replacing James Harden, who just retired. The Jazz signed Jaren Jackson Jr. to a one-year, $31 million deal. I don't know what's happening with Walker Kessler. Maybe he left. Josh Giddey's on the Kings. Okay, all right. And then we got a few other smaller deals here. Walker Kessler did re-sign with the Jazz. I'm assuming that's on his qualifying offer. We'll go a little bit further down the list. Nothing really floating around here as I can see. Grant Williams on the Cavs is disgusting because I'm not the biggest Grant Williams fan in the world. Tari Eason re-signs for the Rockets on his qualifying offer. We sign a couple of players. Tristan Vucevic, the one that got away. Cam Johnson, that is a cheap deal for Cam Johnson on the Blazers. PJ Washington signs with the Spurs, leaves Dallas. That is an interesting deal. The Mavericks re-sign Quentin Grimes. Monte Morris signs with the Blazers. We sign Jordan Clarkson. The Nuggets get Marvin Bagley as a backup to Nikola Jokic, excuse me. Luka Doncic re-signs with the Mavericks, which isn't too surprising. Jabari Smith gets a massive deal, massive rookie extension with the Rockets. Isaiah Joe signs with the Nuggets, leaving OKC. The Spurs sign another center in Hartenstein, 3 years, $40 million. What are the Spurs doing? Marcus Smart on the Warriors is gross. Ben Simmons on the Grizzlies, that actually kind of makes sense. We sign a couple of dudes. Mikal Bridges also joins the Clippers, 4 years, $153. So the Clippers might be decent. Mavericks re-sign Jimmy Butler. So they've got Kyrie, they've got Luka, they've got Jimmy. Moses Moody re-signs with the Warriors. Jaden Ivey gets a new deal. Chet re-signs with the Thunder. Jared Allen's getting $40 million a year from the Hawks. Terry Rozier, actually the Heat might be good as well. Bradley Beal re-signs with the Suns. KD re-signs with the Suns. J-Dub re-signs with the Thunder. Nuggets re-sign Peyton Watson. I know we went after him. Shaedon Sharp signs a 4-year extension with the Blazers. Banchero signs a pretty cheap deal with the Magic. And then re-sign Max Christie. These are all deals that happened prior to free agency. But now that player progression has come and gone, let's have a look at the rosters and actually how they are taking shape, who we think is going to be good and who we think took a step back. The Sixers, the roster's not full, but I do not like how the Sixers look right now. Embiid got a lot worse, as did Paul George. They're both really getting up there in years. Maxey might be asking for a trade in the near future. I'm on Giannis watch because Lillard's down to an 82. Middleton, that's an awful contract. We thought it was bad at the time when he signed it, but we might be on Giannis watch. He might be looking for a trade at some point in the future, and we've got the picks and assets to do it now. So we might be on Giannis watch. The Bulls didn't do a great deal in free agency. I don't hate their roster, but I don't like it either. They've got some picks, but, it's okay. The Cavs looks basically the same as last season. Celtics look pretty similar to last year. I know that Drew Holiday retired, so they're going to be a little bit worse naturally, but basically the same as last year. The Clippers got better because they got Trae Young, they got Mikal Bridges. Kawhi Leonard is a little bit worse and will be a free agent next year, but still looking very good. They've still got Zubac, they've got Tyus Jones. Peyton Pritchard's now on the Clippers. Kobe Brown's there, Taurean Prince is there. They've got a squad. They should be interesting in the Western Conference. Now, Jaren Jackson Jr. is now gone from the Grizzlies. They do have Mark Williams, who they did sign in free agency. Zach Edey is going to be coming up from behind. He's actually not had a good start to his career, but he'll be looking to improve this roster. Ja Morant might be a trade asset going forward, but we don't really have a need for him. The Hawks have nobody. Doesn't look like they did a great deal in free agency. They've got Michael Porter Jr. and Jared Allen. That's basically it. And Risa Shea, of course. I love what the Heat did. They got De'Aaron Fox to pair with Bam Adebayo. They've got Tyler Hero. They've got Jaime Jaquez. They've got Hood Schifino, who we obviously traded them to. And he had a great year last year. He was really good. Terry Rozier re-signed. Vanderbilt's there. I like their roster. I really, really do. So the Heat might be a contender in the Eastern Conference next year. Brandon Miller's up to an 88 overall. They didn't really do a great deal in free agency, but they're still developing and they've got a ton of picks, so they'll be around in the future. Jaren Jackson Jr. pairs up with Damon Galloway, who is now an 86 overall, a massive spike going into his second season. He might be a contender going into next season. Keontae George improved. Markkanen's there. They've still got Walker Kessler. Taylor Hendricks improved. Cody Williams improved. They've got a good roster, and they've also got a ton of picks. The Kings are a bit sad compared to last year. They no longer have De'Aaron Fox, Josh Giddey. He's there for 1 year. Sabonis is getting older. DeRozan's got 1 year left. Ugh, I don't like where the Kings are headed. The Knicks, they've got Brunson, so they're always going to be good, but 2 conference finals losses in a row. Not in great shape. Obviously, there's us. We're looking very nice. The Magic look pretty good. We might be trying to trade for Paolo Banchero in the future, as he is very good, and I would like to have him on the team at some point in the future, but we'll see what can happen there. The Mavericks look really good. I know Jimmy Butler declined a little bit, but it's only a 1 year deal, and they've still got, Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving, probably the best backcourt in the NBA, I would dare say, and Derek Lively is always going to be a pretty good, player. The Nets picked up Davis. Doesn't look like he regressed too much. He's now wearing number 34, which is a little gross, but, they've got Bol, they've got Max Christie, looks like he increased, Cam Christie increased. So it's going to be very interesting to see, what the Nets can do. They've got a ton of guards and only 1 small forward, so it'll be interesting to see. We will take on the Nets at some point next season. I think that will be its own episode. The Nuggets. Jokic is a free agent next season, so that could be very interesting. Jalen Suggs re-signed. Strawther, looks like he hopped up a little bit. Indiana basically stood firm, but they're just looking for a healthy season out of Siakam. He's been unhealthy the last 2 years, as they've made the finals 2 years in a row and have gotten blasted both times by us. The Pelicans look basically the same, but still pretty good. The Pistons, basically the same. They got Drummond back, which is interesting. The Raptors, they got Miles Bridges on a 1 year deal, which is interesting considering they already have Scotty Barnes. But the Rockets look really good. Thompson, Sengun, Green, Smith Jr., Shepard, Whitmore, Van Vliet. I really like this team. I think they're going to be really good next year. The Spurs look good. They do have Jalen Duren, which is a bit redundant when you have Hartenstein and Wemby. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. The Suns are getting old, and I can't remember if we have their pick or if the Hawks have it, but that might be an interest. Devin Booker might be a trade option. Not that I think we will, as we do have LaMelo. The Thunder are really good. They did pick up LeBron James. Not LeBron James Jr., but the projected LeBron James Jr. So that will be very interesting. The Timberwolves look quite good. Towns are still, pretty elite. Anthony Edwards is still excellent. McDaniels is pretty good. Gobert on the decline. They do have Naz Reid on a pretty good deal. Don Connect has had a pretty good career so far. And honestly, he might have been one we tried to keep, but he's 25 now in his second year. The Portland Trail Blazers are sort of in a weird spot. They got rid of some of their centers, but they still have Ayton Williamson and Klingon, who are all possible starting center, caliber players. So it'll be interesting to see what they do. The Warriors, their first season without Steph is going to be sad. They still have Draymond on a pretty bad contract. And then lastly, the Wizards are doing wizard things. But the NBA is looking pretty interesting. Summer League and FIBA friendlies I won't do because it's not a FIBA tournament, so I'm not going to do it. One thing I will look at quickly is our finance situation in the team budget. It looks like we made a nice little profit during the season, so we'll flick that into staff budget and free agent interest, and that will do that there very nicely. And I don't think there's actually anything else for us to do. Contract extensions, nobody else is eligible at this stage, but Okongwu will be looking to extend his contract come next season. So we are going to advance to next season now. Who is going to get a farewell tour? If anybody's going to get a farewell tour, we'll see what happens. Nobody gets a farewell tour. That is hilarious. We do have a couple of conversations to be had. We'll add LaMelo to the no trade list. We'll also... I don't think anybody else is strictly untouchable at this stage, other than LaMelo. Maybe Cam Thomas, but, you know, we'll leave it for now. LaMelo's probably the only untouchable, I would say. But the rotation, I have no idea what it's going to look like. I will have to play around with it and see what happens, as we're going to be pretty deep this year. I can already tell. I think what we're going to do initially is a 11-man rotation to start the year, and then over the course of the season, it will gradually reduce like last year. But we're going to have LaMelo at the 1, Dillingham at the 2, Cam Thomas at the 3, Jovic at the 4, Okongwu at the 5, Mathurin as our 6th man. I was thinking about starting Mathurin at the 3 and Dillingham coming off the bench, but I actually quite like Dillingham in the starting lineup. Bronny is going to get a huge increase in minutes. He's been getting 20 minutes a game this season. He actually got a decrease in minutes last year, but we're basically doubling his minutes. Daniel Gafford, Christian Brown, Wiggins, and Okoro sort of getting around 12 to 8 minutes apiece. Kent Gary, and then Payne, Clarkson, and Georges Niang not getting any minutes at this stage. In terms of our individual training, we're just going to send all of our dudes to outside scoring and then high intensity. This is just all the training I've done for most of our guys. Daniel Gafford will probably just send it to like defense, because I don't plan on shooting with him at any point in time. Kent Gary, we will send him to outside scoring, because we are looking to develop him into an outside scorer. And I think the rest of our guys are already there. Okoro is on defense, so we'll get him onto outside scorer. One of the last things we're going to be doing is the player mentorship. As we go campaign, we'll get he can mentor Dillingham, get some nice badges into him. That should be good. LaMelo probably doesn't need mentoring, I will be honest. He's 25 now. Okongwu, probably not. Kent Gary can be mentored by Daniel Gafford. Or will he be mentored by Okongwu? Probably Gafford. He's a bit older, I would say. That might be what we do. He can be... he's actually not really suitable to any of these. Rise Up, Paint Prodigy, and Post Lockdown. That could be good. Okay, all of our player mentoring's been done. Lastly, we'll have a look at this year's mock draft. We'll see who's available. There's a 7-foot power forward out of Seton Hall who I really like the look of. He's 18 already. Tim Duncan. Oh, he's one to keep an eye on. And then there's a point guard out of the G League Ignite, Benjamin Ferguson, whose comp is Steve Francis. Probably not as good as Tim Duncan, could be argued, but we'll keep an eye on these two guys over the course of the year. But the last thing I want to look at is just at the team intel around the league, see who's protected, who's not. Joel Embiid probably not going to be traded. Giannis can't be traded. Donovan Mitchell no longer untouchable, so that is interesting. Damon Galloway, 86 overall, now is a rookie. He's a second-year pro, untouchable. Paolo Banchero is not untouchable. That might be a mid-season trade we do. Okay. An option is there. Luka and Kyrie are completely untouchable. Pretty much everybody else in the league, and Wemby, of course, is available. Shea, Chet Holmgren, as well as the #1 pick, Jordan Jameson, are untouchable. J-Dub is a trade option. Anthony Edwards, untouchable. And Alex Sarr, untouchable. Lastly, power rankings. Where do we sit? We're not in the top 10. That is disgusting. Where are we? We're 20th? We're back-to-back champs. How are we 20th? Oh my lord. Okay, we're first by 2K Sports. But we're 20th elsewhere. And the GM power rankings, how are we going there? We last. Wow, okay. So they clearly didn't like the moves we made in the off-season. But I did. And hopefully they will pay off in the future. It could be argued that we did lose our best player for a whole bunch of picks. But we did add a ton of depth. So it'll be interesting to see how this season plays out. We are going for 3 in a row. Opening night is... We have 6 away games to start the season. And then our ring ceremony is against the Brooklyn Nets, which could not be more perfect. So that is going to be next episode. We're going to be playing Anthony Davis on Halloween at home against Brooklyn after 6 away games to start the year. But that is going to do it for today, guys. If you did enjoy today's episode, which is a little bit longer than I intended, please leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel for more, and until next time, guys, I hope you have a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you guys then. Bye!